Good morning, Kenya, and welcome back. This is Morning Express. Thank you so much for staying with us. I want us to jump into our next part of the segment before we can jump into hot topics. And I have Emily Kamunde Osoro, who is the president of the International Coach Federation. She's going to tell us exactly what it is they do. And we're going to talk a little bit about life coaching and also coaching in the workplace. Emily, thank you so much for your time this morning. So, International Coach Federation, talk to us, talk to Kenyans. What is that about? What do you do?
Right. International Coach Federation is the largest global organization that governs the coaching profession. And in Kenya, we do have a chapter. We call it the International Coach Federation Kenya chapter. So globally, we have about 30,000 members. We are represented in 75 countries with more than 131 chapters. And essentially what the federation does, it provides standards and guidelines for coach trainers and also for coaches in general, so that irrespective of where you train, whether you train, in Kenya or any other part of the world, the standards will be the same.
Talk to me about those standards that someone has to meet, those standards and guidelines. Exactly,
right. So to become a member of the International Coach Federation, first you have to go through training. There's an approved training program that you go through. The minimum requirement is 60 training hours.
60.
Exactly, okay. 60 training hours, and you have to go through some mentorship coaching before you then apply to become a member.
And what does the coaching consist of? Those 60 hours, what does it consist of?
Right. There are a number of competencies. We currently have 11 competencies of coaching that you go through, and there's usually a lot of resources and tools that are then used within the program to help the participants really understand the concept of coaching. What is it that you should be doing with a client, what are the responsibilities of a client, and what are the responsibilities of a coach at any particular time. You also learn about what coaching is and what coaching is not. You are able also to apply the different aspects of coaching at the workplace.
I like what you said, what coaching is and what coaching is not. What is not coaching?
What is not coaching?
Yes.
Very familiar question that we get around, and one of the things we actually do at the beginning is we like to differentiate coaching and other interventions such as mentoring and teaching and counseling, because coaching is not those things. All of them are helping strategies, but what coaching does, it creates accountability on the part of the client, helping them to maximize their inner resources and helping them move forward, so to speak.
Yeah. And why is life coaching important? We talk about these things that you said, mentorship, even though they are completely different, mentorship, coaching, etc. But why is life coaching important? Why do you think that an individual needs to have at least either practiced it, or should have a coach alongside? Why? Why do you think that's important?
I think it's important because each of us we always say we have amazing potential inside. We have the power to do so much. And at times in life, you will feel that you're not really achieving what you should be at your maximum, or your performance is not as great as it should be. So you want to approach a coach to help you through that journey. The coach doesn't give you the answers, but they really support you to maximize your potential, to access the resources that you have within you. And coaches are being used in organization in a great way, to really improve performance and improve leadership skills within the organization.
We're going to touch on coaching in the workforce. But now, paint for me the difference between mentorship and coaching, especially now that you said that a coach is there to help you and to guide you, and they may not give you the answers, but they will give you a guideline. Right.
So when you talk about mentorship is about, helping, showing the way, and if I've been there, I've done that, and therefore, you're going to a mentor because they have more experience, and therefore you want to learn the ropes. They're able to show you and give you examples of the journey they have passed through. The difference between that and coaching is that in coaching, you actually don't give the answers. You don't give examples as a coach or as the expert. You're not the expert as a coach.
Okay.
Yeah, what you do is that you actually use different resources and tools to help the client create self-awareness, because that's where it begins. Because they have amazing potential, like I said, and it's about using the power of the mind to help the client be able to find their solutions.
Wow. And this has worked. You have cases where employees of a certain company can say, yes, I went through, or I have a life coach and it has helped me overcome hurdle 1, 2, 3.
Right. And probably just to demystify that a little bit, I think what people know as coaching is life coaching. A lot of them are familiar with life coaching. And that's really one aspect of coaching. There are different types of coaching. The life coaching looks at the whole person, and it has to do more with your social, your family life, and how you balance your life, generally speaking. But when you speak about other types of coaching, there's career coaching, there's workplace coaching, there's leadership coaching, but then to just really go back to what you talked about, life coaches, because that's what people are most familiar with. It's really about solving their personal problems.
And why is work coaching important, not only for employees, but for the employer, to know that I can get a coach for my employees because it will help them probably in attaining goal 1, 2, or progress. So why is it important? And I want you to help us understand that both from an employee point of view and an employer's point of view.
Right. I'll probably give you a car analogy.
Okay.
You have a car at the garage and you want to improve the performance of the car. So what do you change? Do you change the tires? Do you change the windscreens? Do you change, the engine? You would go to the engine because that's really the heart of, of that particular car, isn't it? That's what's going to make it drive and perform better. So the same thing with employees. You want to use coaching because coaching touches on the mind, right? And it's about changing behaviors at the workplace. It's about changing attitudes, and that's what you want to do. The reason it's important is because it's a big driver for performance. It's a big driver for change, and it really enhances leadership skills within the organization. So from the employer side, they're interested in results. They want to deliver more every other time. And on the side of the employee, they want to feel appreciated, they want to feel valued, they want to get feedback, right, about their performance. So on the one side, the employer will then invest in a coaching program to then empower their managers so that they become better, better coaches and better leaders within the organization, therefore driving performance.
All right.
Yeah.
And are Kenyan companies, employers, sensitive about getting a coach, or they just don't want to spend when it comes to that?
It's a good question. Organizations that are already aware of the impact of coaching are really investing in this program, and we have case studies of organizations that have done amazing things. They have transformational programs within the organization saying, you know what, we stalled on this program for so long, but since we introduced the program, we've been able to see results. So one of the things we're actually putting in place is to have case studies that we can actually measure the return on investments of coaching. So yes, to answer your question, there are organizations that are seeing the value. On the other hand, it's still a very new profession. Yeah. And not just in Kenya, to be honest, but globally speaking, because we are talking about the study that was done by the Global Federation in 2016. We have on average 53,000 trained coaches, and that's really a small number when you look at it from a global perspective. And obviously this is coming from the different training schools that then are able to give you those particular numbers.
Why do you think those numbers are low?
They are low because, like I said, the profession is still in its advanced stages. Very growing. But then, so to speak, coaching for a long time has been practiced in Europe and America. They're more advanced than we are. In fact, most of the coaches, more than 70% of them, you'll find them in those markets because then, they started before we did. But then it goes back to the misconceptions that people have about coaching and mentoring and counseling. And in fact, the greatest challenge in the next few years is the presence of untrained coaches in the market who call themselves coaches.
So how are you going to make sure, as the International Coach Federation, how will you make sure that you're going to sieve the con men and women from the actual people in the profession?
Yeah, I think by doing exactly what we are doing, which is creating more and more awareness, educating the public on what coaching is, the research that we continue to conduct and sharing information around coaching itself, and really getting more success stories within organizations on, what the impact of coaching is. And really the Federation is doing all it can to also regulate the profession. In different countries, they will do different things. Of course, at a global level, there are standards and code of ethics that we all must abide by. But I think one of the things that we envision to do within the Kenyan context is also to provide a framework that regulates this profession, just like other professions have been regulated, like the legal profession, for example, or the finance profession. So we would also want to get to that space to avoid, quacks really in the market who then fleece people of their monies.
So have a proper framework, both locally and internationally, that will help you guys save real coaches from the quacks, as you've mentioned.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's talk about the profession just a little bit. But before I jump into that, you guys specifically deal with employee coaching within the workplace. What about a student? Your student could be watching this saying, then if I want a coach, where do I go get a coach? Right. Okay. So what about for students? Perhaps is there, are you looking into that, or do you have a sister company that you work with that specifically deal with coaching for high school and university students?
No. I think one thing just to clarify is that the International Coach Federation does not provide training, but it does have coaches, and all these coaches they've received a kind of a standard form of training. The only thing is that they then specialize. For example, I'm going to pick a niche, I'm going to speak students, and I become a career coach. So the foundational training is the same, but then I am going to focus purely on helping the young graduates discover themselves, helping them understand what are their the next career moves, and how do they become better. So yes, that is also covered within the whole coaching spectrum. Only there are different types of coaching, as I mentioned before.
And let's just now gear a little bit towards the profession. Can someone want to become a coach, the way you want to become a doctor, the way you want to become a teacher? Can someone say, I'm done with my high school, I want to go into coaching as a profession? Are there universities that probably offer it as a course, or is it probably like a subject within a certain course? If someone wanted to go into it as a profession,
as a profession. Yeah, great question. The Federation approves all coach training providers. So if you wanted to run a coach training program, you go through the Federation. And if you went to their website, you would then see the different approved providers and then pick, I want to go to this one to get a coach training program. Anybody can be trained on coaching. It doesn't matter the profession. And like I said, it's an amazing value add for individuals to really top up onto what you already have, because it's not other than the technical knowledge that you already have on your other professions. Coaching looks at the whole person. It helps you develop personally, it helps you grow professionally as well. So yes, it is possible for just anybody to do it. But once you conduct the training, it all depends on personalities also. Not everyone can coach, just like the way not everyone can be a teacher, not everybody can be an engineer. I think it takes you to test it, experience it, and then go through it, probably see some success stories and examples, and see whether you actually have what it takes to do that.
And because of the low number within the profession, that means that's a challenge, but equally it's an opportunity, because that means there's market outside there.
Absolutely. And the demand is there. And amazingly, for those who are already trained coaches, especially within our markets here in Africa, you then find opportunities out there, because in the advanced and mature markets, coaching is more demand-driven, because you'd have people knocking at your door saying, I need a coach, where can I find one? And they actually pay for it. In our current setup, it's still advanced, and it's more like supply driven, where probably in institutions you have a career counselor who decides, I'm going to get a coach to coach my students, or the organization hires a professional coach to come and coach their managers or their employees. So you can see it's more supply driven from the employer side. But then we want to get to a point where, as an individual, you can actually hire your own personal coach because you want to grow and you want to develop.
Wow. And you think as Kenyans and probably as the African market, we'll get to that point where, you know, individually I am seeking for a coach?
I think so. It's also because people don't have the awareness, and therefore they don't even know that, oh, you mean I can get a coach, and how much does it cost?
What will it do for me?
What will it do for me? What are some of the success stories from other people who've experienced coaching? Again, that's where the creation of awareness comes in. That's where education comes in. And I do know that we will get there, because once you really appreciate the impact of coaching from a performance perspective, it's amazing. I mean, like Maslow says, the human potential is infinite. Yeah. You'll be amazed how much individuals can do. I want to start a business today. Can I really do it? You know, I'm not doing great at my work. You know, how come some people are better than others? You know, coaching helps you to really dig deeper into who you really are, into your resources, and see, you know, what can I do?
And like you said, there's a return on investment on it.
Yeah, right.
All right, beautiful. I know before we close off, tell me a little bit about the event that you will be having.
So we've been celebrating what you call the International Coaching Week globally. This happens in the month of May.
Okay.
So from the 7th to the 13th of May, we will be celebrating coaching in different ways. So in Kenya, we have chosen to do this using the different organizations. So the first day on the 7th, we are going to launch the coaching week at Strathmore Business School. We are going to invite all our partners. We are going to invite coaches, trained coaches, you know, to then share with them what the week will look like. We have organizations that are also practicing coaching. We want to hear the success stories. What are they doing in their organizations? We are also working with HR professionals to see how can we embed coaching more at the workplace, because HR professionals are also the drivers of coaching at the workplace. So that's really key for us, and we are looking at some of those partnerships. The other piece that we're going to be handling, we are calling it Accelerate or Activate kind of coaching clinics. The Accelerate theme speaks to organizations that already know what coaching is. They have been trained within the organization, and they are managers who are already coaches. So what we do there is we go and say, well, what has this done for you? We want to listen to some of the changes, if any, that have happened within the organization and some of the programs that they are running. And we also get to actually experience coaching. We do exercises around coaching, and we educate the rest. The other piece around Activate speaks to organizations that have no clue about coaching. They've never heard about it. So we go there and kind of educate them and train them on very basic on what coaching is and what it's not. And we actually do demos. We coach the employees, and we have fun, really.
And it's going to be, because it's running for an entire week, will part of it be open to the public?
Yes, it will. We do have one also at Angaza University. We do have a session there where it will be kind of a public talk. Generally, as much as we are targeting coaches, we are also targeting those who are non-coaches, so that they understand, why should I become a coach?
Right.
Who should I go to?
Right.
Which organization should I affiliate with? And that kind of thing.
Okay. Emily, thank you so much for your time and helping us understand the world of coaching. Of course, after this now, we've gotten a better and deeper perspective of what it is. And of course, the biggest for me is the difference between coaching and mentorship. And I'm sure for employers, they can see that there's a return on investment.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
Emily
you.
Kamunde Osoro, who is the president of the International Coach Federation. We want to take a quick commercial break, but before we do so, we want to rather leave you with traffic update of Kenyatta Avenue. These are live pictures coming to you right now from Nairobi CBD of how traffic is currently performing. If we could have that up right now. So that is CBD that you're currently looking at right now, Nairobi, and how it looks. Kenyatta Avenue, the ins and out of it. So that's how traffic is currently looking like in Nairobi's CBD area. Quite smooth, actually, despite the rains that happened last night.